Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. This week has been quite an intense week and I am just sending out my love and support to everyone this week as things feel a little bit tumultuous and uncertain and out of our control. But I wanted to talk about something that I feel like I skirt around a lot on my channel, and yet I think it's something that's so important and something that I've come to be incredibly grateful for, and something that a lot of people have asked me a lot of questions about. And that is, how did I change my life around? So, a little bit of background about me. I have been working in legal and compliance for the last 10 years of my life. I studied law and politics in my undergraduate, so I actually have two bachelor's degrees, a Bachelor of Social Sciences in International Political Relations, and a Bachelor of Laws, and I've been working in legal and compliance ever since I graduated from law school, and I always thought that was going to be the be all and end all of my career. I am good at my job. I don't mind saying it. I'm good at my job. I have worked my way up to being now the lead for content compliance within Google, and I work in areas of legal compliance like content regulations, AI, and privacy, which are all very prevalent areas and very cutting edge and upcoming areas that I feel very privileged to be a part of. I've worked my way up to those areas, and I've worked my way up to the position that I am in now, which allows me a huge amount of flexibility in my time and my schedule, really. But in the middle of, well, no, I don't think it actually was. I always say that in the middle of COVID, I kind of had this epiphany moment, this realization moment. But I think it actually happened, it's been happening gradually. And I think the first moment that I clearly remember was in my first year of university. I've always been a really avid reader, and literature was always one of my favorite subjects in school. I think I got my best mark at school in literature. I sat in the registration hall in my first year of university, and I was choosing my subjects, and I was looking at English literature, and I so desperately just wanted to go and register for those classes. They all looked fascinating. I wanted to read all the readings. I was just so enthusiastic. I wanted to get in there. And then I kind of sat back and I was like, well, what am I ever going to do with English literature? I couldn't find myself in a career, particularly being in South Africa, which is where I was studying. I couldn't find myself in a career where I could use English literature. And so I really thought about it, and I justified not doing English literature or the English literature classes. I justified it by saying that I could read the books anyway and still appreciate it, which I did. I did end up reading a lot of the books that were on the undergraduate curriculum. But I traded English literature classes for economics, which I hated. and I've been doing that ever since. I've been trading up my passion for the stable choice, the stable job. And up until a couple of years ago, it was enough. The stable job was enough. And I can't lie and say that it didn't provide exceptional opportunities for me and my family as we both entered into the working world. We are now in Ireland. I'm closer to my family out here who are Irish, and we have built up enough of a nest egg to afford to buy our home, to afford to keep our three adorable pups, and to afford the opportunity for me to go back to university. So, jumping back to when it was the middle of COVID and people were baking bread and learning all kinds of skills, and I thought to myself, well, I'm actually going to go back to school and start revisiting this English literature passion of mine. Always been an avid book reader, always been an avid book collector. And so I thought, well, now is the time to do it. And enrolled in a few short courses. The continuing education department was a sort of stepping stone for me in terms of the short courses. And I absolutely loved every single thing I was learning. And so I took a chance and I enrolled in an undergraduate certificate in English literature. This was offered through the continuing education department. And I just absolutely loved every single second of that, including writing the exams at the end. The certificate was 2 years. It was part-time. As I say, it was an undergraduate certificate. So it was the equivalent of the Oxford first year English literature degree. And in the meantime, I was supplementing my studies with other short courses and really focusing on developing as much as I could in the English literature space. This was also the time that I started discovering BookTube and Bookstagram. Believe it or not, this was before TikTok. And or maybe TikTok had just started. I can't remember. It might have just started. But this was the time when BookTube was just kind of, I don't think it was getting started, but it was certainly not as prevalent as it is today. And I was so inspired to start sharing my ideas of reading and what I was reading and what I thought about books, because all my friends asked me all the time my opinions, and I was just too scared to kind of take that leap. But I was halfway through the certificate when I thought to myself, I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop studying. I want to keep studying. And so I had been watching Caitlin's channel and I'd reached out to her to see if she would help me with my master's application for Oxford. I had to be quite studious in this. I was looking for a particular program that was part-time, that allowed me to stay home with my family and not have to relocate to attend classes. I had to find a program that was affordable because it was something that I was paying for myself. And so I spent hours and hours and hours doing my own research, scouring Google, scouring university websites, scouring anything that I could find to try and find programs that suited my idea of a part-time master's. And I did find it in the Oxford's continuing education department. The MLA, or the Masters in Literature and Arts, that I'm currently enrolled in is interdisciplinary, so it's not fully English literature, but actually I think that's helped me so much in looping in some of the skills that I learned in my undergraduate into this current master's, while enhancing, obviously, my English literature analytical skills. And that is where I am today. On top of which, I started my YouTube channel. There's a massive shout out to Cait and Caitlin, who encouraged me to do that. I was so nervous to do it, but as soon as I took the leap to do it, I have loved it. I've loved every single second of it. And I'm also now the co-owner and managing director of Accepted Society. And I have felt the shift in myself, in my world, solidify so much more in the last year. But if I'm honest, this change has been occurring for the last 3 to 4 years. And I want to be completely transparent on this channel, as always. Changing your life so drastically does not happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a year. It doesn't even happen in 2 years. Sometimes it can take that long to actually get things going. And I want to talk about 3 things that have helped me to make those changes in my life. So, the first thing that has been absolutely crucial is finding my tribe, finding my people, finding my community. And before I joined Accepted Society, my community was my cohort, was the group of people that I was studying with. And I found a huge amount of comfort and solace with my cohort, but also with many people online who I had and still haven't met in person, but who were also interested in literature and reading. Kieran was one of my first booktube mates, and him and I are still chatting regularly. And joining Jesse's book club was a big community boost for me as well. I'll leave all of these creators and influencers' names down below in the description box, but finding those tribes and finding those communities is absolutely essential to having support in yourself to pursue the ideas that you want to pursue. And I know that space has been Accepted Society for me and for so many people since I've been a part of it. And I can't hype up Accepted Society enough as an academic community. It is a community that is so beautiful. Honestly, it holds so much value. It holds so much space for people to come in from different backgrounds, from different academic pathways, and come together and just feel supported and provided for. Beyond the fact that we run, study sessions and writing workshops and planning sessions and book clubs and all these wonderful things, there is more than anything just this great and profound sense of support, value, and an opportunity to be seen. And I wish nothing more that I had had this when I was making this transition, because I think having that community, having a space to reach out and ask questions and ask for guidance and understand the institutions and all that is so, so valuable, and not something that is easily done. I had to self-research everything. There was no information on YouTube. There was no information on the internet about going back to school. You were considered a mature student, but what does that actually mean, and how do you plan that out? It's so it feels so gate kept, and yet being in a community like Accepted has really helped me and so many other people be able to share that information. And so if you want to go and check out Accepted Society, I will leave the link in the description box below. And if you stick around until the end of this video, I will have a code for you. Leading on from finding your community is finding your motivation. It's really, really hard to spend hours upon hours of time that you could be doing things that you really, really love, actually driving yourself towards a goal that driving yourself towards a goal that you don't necessarily have to do. There is no one pushing you to do this. And it's very, very difficult to end up justifying that to your friends and family, where you are taking on something that is not necessarily, or that they don't necessarily see the value in. Because why would you shift everything when you've got everything so good? But I'm here to tell you that there is a huge amount of benefit in finding that motivation and holding on to it as tightly and as crucially as possible. For me, that motivation was the joy and passion that I felt every single time I engaged in my research and in my studies. Knowing that this was a space that I wanted to belong drove me every single day to put in the hours, put in the late nights, say no to social occasions, so that I can spend the time doing this kind of thing. And every single time I came to a crossroads and I said to myself, what am I doing that is going to lead me to my goal? And every single time I made that decision with the intentionality of getting to my goal. And half of that was, documenting it on this YouTube channel as well. But I'm not going to lie, it was a long and lonely journey. It's very, very difficult to do this without a support structure, without people understanding exactly what you're going through when you have to choose sitting at your desk over doing something fun. That's not to say that you should be working yourself silly. I would never, ever promote toxic productivity in that way. But I'm also not going to lie and say that taking the chance to change your life doesn't come with some sacrifice. As always, I've been very transparent on this channel. There have been moments where I have felt myself crack and I've been doing too much and I have to take a step back. And I don't want to ever put the perception that I am just whizzing through. And if I am putting that perception on, then believe me, it's not true, because there are days, funny enough, like today, where I feel it's really, really important to talk about some of the difficulties of undertaking this journey. Nevertheless, I have never, ever, ever in my entire life been happier than I am right at this moment. I am completing a wonderful master's through the continuing education department. I have incredible supervisors that I'm working with for my dissertation, for my master's. I have incredible potential supervisors that I'm working with for my PhD applications. I have a thriving business that is focused on academic community and building up students that come from different backgrounds. And I'm still doing my day job, which allows me to fund everything else. I have a beautiful home. I have a beautiful, supportive family and a wonderful husband. And I have a thriving YouTube, Instagram, TikTok community where we get to talk about books and academic journeys. And I get to share all of my experiences with you on this channel. And I have never, ever, ever been happier than I am right at this moment, talking to you all about this. And it's been inspiring to me to engage with you all in the community. And so, as a part of Accepted Society, and for me to give back to you all, I am going to be offering one-to-one coaching services. I am so excited to be able to do this. I really want to give back to those people who are trying to change their lives and revisit their passions and reconnect with this part of themselves that I'm sure they've been masking for so, so long. And I will leave the link to those one-to-one coaching sessions in the description box below. At the moment, I'm only offering a few slots just because life, but I will leave those slots linked down below and the link down below. And if I want to be able to provide that service. I want to be able to provide that guiding hand that I did not have when I made this change. And so please feel free if you want to have a chat with me. If you are watching this video and you're like, yes, I want to do that. I have always put, everything else aside over my passion, and I want to go and pursue my passion. Let's talk about it, because I can guarantee you, mid-30s right now, I finally feel like myself. I finally feel like the person that I've always wanted to be. That was quite tangential when I was talking about sort of my motivation. But the third and most important tip is practicing a sense of mindfulness and kindness during this whole process. Now, I know that's going to sound a little bit wishy-washy, but believe me that if you are attempting to change your life, and this is something that you are committed to doing, you have your tribe, you have your motivation, you are committed to continuously developing and learning yourself, there are going to be times where you are going to question everything about yourself, your identity, who you are, what it means to be doing the things that you are doing. I can tell you that there have been moments in this journey of mine where I have just felt destroyed, absolutely and utterly destroyed, defeated, unmotivated, and I've developed a few ways that I have been able to counter that. I sit and I journal very, very often, not every day. And likely I journal more when I am under a particular amount of stress. But to be able to kind of word vomit ideas onto a page has been so, so helpful to me, just to gain perspective on my thoughts. I have done my best to incorporate healthy habits. I've done my best to incorporate getting out, walking the dogs, getting a breather, stepping away from my desk. But I have also embraced those moments or those things that maybe people don't talk about, like sleeping a ridiculous number of hours when you need to just really decompress, or mindlessly watching a show or a movie that you've seen numerous times just to take your mind off things, or even playing a video game. I am a massive Hogwarts Legacy girly, and I am on my third replay of that game because it is something that fully takes me out of my head and puts me elsewhere and gives me a chance to decompress from work, from running Accepted, from doing my master's, from focusing on PhD, and from just being a woman in society, which at the moment is incredibly stressful. And I don't want to underestimate this because it is difficult at the moment. It's a difficult environment to be in. And taking the time out for yourself is not selfish. Taking the time out for yourself, if anything, is absolutely and utterly fundamental. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Do what you need to do. Go for that, shopping therapy session. Go and have coffee with a girlfriend. Go and take a walk. Go and sit in front of the TV or doom scroll for a couple of hours, or do something that takes your mind off of constantly pushing for your motivation. Because in our brains, in our fight or flight moments, we as women are constantly fighting, always pushing, always driving forward, always seemingly going against the tide. And I think sometimes we just need to float. Does it set us back? Sometimes it might feel like it does. But honestly, resting yourself, resting your mind, resting your body, resting your heart will do so much more for you the next time you do get up and push against that current. And again, this might sound really wishy-washy. You're probably, if you're still listening, I really appreciate you listening, because all of these things, finding your community, finding your tribe, finding your motivation, and being mindful and kind to yourself are all things that I wish someone had spoken to me about before embarking on this journey. And I think these are all things that every single one of us can do, and every single one of us can find the motivation to do. And I am just super duper proud of this community, because so many of you are here because you do want to change your life, and I love that. I love that for you. I love that you are here for that reason, and thank you for being here for that reason. Last couple of things to conclude from me. Accepted Society is the place to be if you are looking for academic community. No matter what stage of studying you are in, undergraduate, postgraduate, postdoc, independent researcher, professional who is looking to get back into academia, this is the space for you to come, be seen, and be valued. I also really want to work with you if this is something that you really want to do. You really want to motivate yourself to change your life and go back to your passions. I want to hear from you. Reach out in the comments if you just want to say hi. But if you want to work with me, the one-to-one coaching will be in the description box below. And if you guys would like a code for Accepted Society, join it, come for a 7-day free trial, see for yourself what the magic is all about. Then use the code Cait for a discounted rate for the subscription. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks. Bye.